Welcome to the Walla Way. This is Imran Nanlawala, and I got a special guest here today, all the way from the lovely state of Ohio, Travis Smith. Travis, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me, bro. I appreciate
No,
it.
no, my pleasure, man. So before we get into the nitty gritty, give us a quick background, man. What's the love, or how did the love of basketball get there? We'll go into the full story in another episode, but why the
Yeah,
love of basketball?
yeah, just real quick, man. I mean, I've been playing basketball my whole life. I played college basketball. I did track as well, Cedarville University, but so Division II. But I had a good career, and I started just in as a kid growing up. It's actually funny. My sister was the first person that taught me basketball. I didn't pick up a ball until I was in middle school. um, and she was outside shooting around, and I was like, "Oh, teach me how to play," and because she was on the freshman team at our high school, and that kind of like kindled. I just wanted to like play outside with her, and that's kind of kindled my spark for the love of it. And I sucked in the beginning, being that I started so late in the beginning. I used to get picked on because how bad I was at the time, but back in the growing up in the '90s, you get thick skin. I don't know how kids do. Don't seem like they got as thick a skin these days, but back then you got picked on, and you either fold
Travis,
or you
I
step your
think
game up. So
I okay. Yeah, we lost your audio for like 10 seconds there, but now I think I can hear you.
oh, you can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you. Yep, yep.
You can hear me now? All right, cool. Yeah. So anyway, so I used to get picked on stuff like that, but ended up, being good enough. Got good really quick because I got tired of getting picked on, and so ended up making the JV team my freshman year of high school, and just from there, went to the same school for 3 years, and then ended up transferring to a Christian school my senior year, and played very well there, and that's how I ended up going to Cedarville, getting recruited by them, and it was just continue to love of the game. And things didn't work out perfectly for me at Cedarville, but it was good to still do basketball, and track ended up being my main thing later in my career, just because of things that was going on. But had a great time, and still got a lot of love for the school and for the basketball program. Um, but uh, but yeah, man. So I just been part of the game. I played a lot of men's leagues and A leagues and stuff like that here in Columbus, and know a lot of the guys. Even though I'm not from here, this is my home now. So it's my second home. I still love Florida, but Columbus is my second home. So I've been well connected with the basketball scene here in Columbus, man, and it's a very strong one too. I didn't, moving here, I didn't know how strong it was. I'm coming from the South, but these guys don't play. Obviously, you knew about LeBron, but you didn't know about all these other guys that was from Ohio that don't mess around. Esteban Weaver and guys like that. Jamel Cornley, like cats like that. You don't know about them cats. You know what I mean? But you hear about it, you see them playing, you're like, wow, there's some hoopers, there's some real hoopers. But yeah, man. So I love it, and that's kind of my background.
Oh, it's awesome, and we'll get more into the background story, man, into the intricacies of the playing career and what that was like. But I know we got a short time today, and just wanted to catch up with you regarding the conference finals. Um, want to see what you think about what's going out west and what you think what's about what's going out east. And I know we got the game's going to start here shortly. So why don't we start with the Eastern Conference and tell me what you see with Miami, Boston? Are you surprised? What do you think about that?
Um, I don't know if I'll say surprise, but I did not think that they'd be Boston would lose two at home, coming off of how they looked off of that game 7
Yep.
against Philly. I mean, it looked like they figured it out. It looked like Jason Tatum at least figured it out. Because as far as I'm concerned, they go as far as he takes them. I mean, Jaylen Brown is obviously incredible too, but Jason Tatum is really the one that sets the tone for the team. When he's playing well, when he's killing, everybody's rocking. And I don't know if you saw the stat, man, but he's like only taking like 3 shots or something like that in the fourth quarter over 2 games. It's
Jalen Brown.
crazy.
Jalen Brown.
No, Jason Tatum.
For me, the Celtics are like a conundrum, man, because I had the same thoughts as you did when they got out of that game 7. I said, okay, they figured it out because that's a team I just don't trust. They got the talent. They got the talent. I like who they have, but I think the two things that really affect them are one, the rookie coach, and two, not having a true point guard that's like in the starting unit or like really facilitating the offense for them. Marcus Smart, great defender. Marcus Smart can give you an assist here and there just based on his athleticism or speed. But I think these guys really miss having even like a veteran point guard, someone like a Chris Paul who could kind of slow them down, speed them up, get them all in their spots, get them in that rhythm, have them get that confidence. And they're just very inconsistent. That's the thing that's kind of plagued Boston for a couple of years now, is just that inconsistency. But yeah, man, if you finish third in MVP voting, you can't be just getting 3 or 4 shots all together in that fourth quarter, man.
Well, you know what they call that winning time, right? It's one of those things where it don't matter if you got 30 points in the first 3 quarters if you don't close the deal at the end. It's the same thing that guys used to get on LeBron about, right? Early in his career. It's like you got us in position to win, but now I need you to take us home. I mean, that's just kind of, is it fair? I don't know if you could say it's fair or unfair, but that's just the way it is. That's the standard for a superstar. You know what I mean? It don't matter if you got 50 the first 3 quarters if we lose the game and you ain't take the last shot. So I think Jason Tatum is. Obviously he's an incredible player, but it's just a weird situation there. And not to take anything away from Jimmy Butler, because obviously Jimmy Butler has a lot to do with that, right? Because he's guarding a lot of the time. So we ain't even talked about that yet. I saw these like memes going around now where they're saying Jimmy Butler's Michael Jordan's son.
Yeah. That's not a new rumor, by the way. That's something that people have been rumoring for years.
Oh, really?
Yep.
No way.
I swear.
So what's the so there's actually might be like some truth to it?
Again, who knows if it's really true, but I remember they like matched up all the years. So basically, like based on how old Jimmy Butler is, this would have been Michael's whatever year in the league. Jimmy Butler's from Thumbo, Texas, and they had some connection with Michael Jordan being in Houston. There was a whole bunch of this, and then someone put that picture of Jimmy Butler bald. They put them right next to each other, similar shaped heads or whatever. So who knows, man?
Oh, wow. So does Michael Jordan know Jimmy Butler's mom?
That I didn't get. So I don't remember reading all that, but I'm telling you, like, this is not a new rumor at all. Like, I've heard this, bro, 100 times.
Wow.
Yeah. This is not something new at all. I think just because of how good he's doing and the fact that the guy's like undermanned, he doesn't have that deep of a team. I mean, look, the guys are hooping. Miami is a very disciplined team. They have a lot of heart, a lot of passion. But you see 3 or 4 of those guys went undrafted, and they're key rotational players, if not starters. They're missing Tyler Hero, second leading scorer on the team. Oladipo went out. So I think the comparison is also like, okay, Jimmy's clutch. Michael's clutch.
Absolutely.
Jimmy's a dog. Michael's a dog. Like Jimmy Butler, man, I don't mean this in a disrespectful way. I don't think Jimmy Butler has the talent some of those A level guys have, but he's got the work ethic, man, and he's got the discipline, and I think that's what really propels him over the top.
Absolutely. They say he's got that dog in him. Like you said, like I don't know if he's athlete. He's not the most athletically gifted guy. He doesn't have the best handles. He doesn't have the best shot, but he's an extremely hard worker, and he knows how to. He gets his buckets very timely. Like it's like he gets stops very timely. Like and yeah, you can look at Jason Tatum's stat or somebody else's stats and be like, oh, they better than Jimmy, but it's when he's getting those buckets is the key. Where where like we just talked about, you can get 30 points through the whole game, but if you ain't even shooting the ball or you can't get your shot off in the court, that's a problem. Jimmy Butler's getting those. He got 22 or 23, 25 points in a game, but he got 15 of them in the fourth. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what mattered. And Jimmy is. I just like his swagger, man. Like just the way he carries himself. It feels like he's a natural born leader. Even when he was in Chicago, he kind of just carried himself very professionally, like no BS. I like the fact that he's been a straight shooter basically his entire career. And he's not trying to run ring chase or anything like that. Kind of similar situation with Giannis, where it's like I respect Giannis for the fact that he ain't trying to ring chase. He's not trying to hang out with these guys all through the summer and doing TikTok videos and all on social media. It's like, man, I'm here to hoop. Like, you know what I mean? Like, now let's get it cracking. You know what I'm saying? I love that about Jimmy, and I think his game speaks to that seriousness about how he approaches seems like everything in life.
If somehow the Miami Heat pull it off and they win in the finals, they got to go down as one of the greatest teams, and not because of their talent, not because they could beat the other great teams, but just because of what they've accomplished. Okay, they beat a former champion in the Bucks, right? Then they took out the MVP's team in the 76ers, and now they're beating the favorites who were supposed to come out of the East in the Boston Celtics, who were in the finals last year. And if they make it to the finals and win, man, like again, they don't have the depth, they don't have the same talent as other teams. So for me, they got to go down as one of the greatest. But I know you got a few minutes left, man, and I want to ask you about what you're seeing with the Nuggets and Lakers. Personally, I'm not surprised, but what are your thoughts with that series?
I'm absolutely not surprised. No, I mean, if Miami beat Denver in the finals, that would be, yeah, I would say, yeah, that would be like one of the greatest upsets of all time. Um, I don't see anybody beating Denver, and the reason, and Shaq talks about this stuff all the time. People always ask, like, hey, like, what would Shaq do if he was playing in this era? It's like, I mean, look at what Joker dominates in a different way, but Shaq will be even more dominant because when you got if you have a dominant big man who actually plays like a big man in this era, it makes your team basically unstoppable. You know what I mean? Like Joker is just there's no matchup for him. You know what I'm saying? Like he can do what he's doing against anybody. He's been doing it for the last 3-4 years. I mean, quite frankly, I think he was the MVP this year, but I understand the MVP. There's a narrative, and you couldn't give him 3 in a row, blah blah blah. But like, I mean, really, I feel like he was the MVP this year again, and it's not surprising to me. I mean, Anthony Davis is obviously a solid player. I mean, he's a great player. Like, don't get me wrong, but he can't guard Joker. He's not strong enough. I mean, it's a non-issue for Jokic. So, and then obviously Jamal Murray been showing out. See that's really the key in that series is the fact that Jamal Murray is actually playing like Jamal Murray, like how because you remember he'd been hurt the last couple of years in the playoffs, so he really couldn't get off. You kind of almost people kind of forgot how good he was. Um, you kind of already knew what Jokic was going to do because he does this to everybody. But with Jamal Murray, he got that solid number two with him. That's a tough out, man. Because Joker can keep you in the game with anybody. So Jamal Murray just makes it to where it's tough, man. I mean, ain't nobody touching them like that. I think the Lakers gonna get swept. Which is not like a very risky take at this point. But I told my dude the other day I thought they was gonna get swept before the series started. I said they're gonna get swept. He called me crazy. He said, LeBron's gonna win the finals and he gonna be the GOAT. Like I mean, tell you what, if the Lakers came back and won this series, I might actually get back on here and say LeBron's the GOAT. Even if they don't win the finals, if he comes back and wins this series, bro, it's like, all right, you know what, you're right, he is the GOAT.
Yeah, I don't want to complain, man, but I'm not a fan of the reffing in this series. Even like,
man.
I feel like they've been trying to give it to the Lakers and make it much easier for the Lakers to get to that foul line. Joker lives in the paint. He barely goes to the free throw line unless it's in the fourth quarter and the Lakers have to fall. I think I had the same predictions, man. I think I expected the Nuggets in 5, and people, these games haven't been blowouts like other than I think game 1. Game 2 and 3, the Lakers were in the game until some point in the fourth quarter. So I give credit where credit is due, but you can tell they're outworked. Nuggets have more talent, and like you mentioned, bro, if Jamal Murray's got that dog in him too, right? And you see him hitting tough shots, you see him posting up the guards, you see him knocking down threes, you see him going to the rack. Then you got Gordon, who can match up with LeBron in the sense of size and strength, right? Sure. And he also got some defensive minutes against Anthony Davis. You got old Uncle Jeff Green out there. You got a lot of guys out there. Who was hitting all those shots yesterday? What's his name, man? The guy that the Lakers used to have.
You said KCP?
Bro, like out there balling, right? So these guys, man, they're hungry. Jokic, I think, is an elite player. You see he's hungry.
You
making
think
all the
Jokic was the MVP this year?
for sure. For sure. Like because I did a whole episode on it. Not to hate against Embiid. I think Embiid's in the conversation, but if you look at them statistically, the only stat that Embiid is clearly better in is in points.
Yeah.
That's it. Not in assists, not in rebounds, not in minutes played, not in plus minus, not in games played. Embiid has missed an average of like 10 games a year. Like there's so many knocks against Embiid that Jokic doesn't have. So, and I think when Perkins and all those guys got on ESPN and they try to make it about race and this and that, I think that really swayed a lot of the voters against voting for Jokic for the third time. And they did it in a timely manner. They did it like 2 months before the season ended.
Yeah, right before the the voting. Yeah, they inserted the race conversation.
Yeah. So that's what I think, man. But I know I think you got a boogie, man. You got 2 minutes.
Yeah, I got 2. But man, I'll say one thing. Like with Embiid, it felt like as soon as when they finally gave him that award, Embiid was done. He was like, "I'm done for the season." Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I saw that too.
He just like,
all that pressure,
exactly.
just nah, man.
Like, I don't care no more.
No, bro. And the thing is, like, I'm old school, man. Like, I know about like his eating habits. Him eating like McDonald's before games and all that kind of stuff. I'm a purist, bro. The guys who take care of their bodies, that's why, like, no matter how much I knock LeBron, one thing you can't knock LeBron about is how he approaches taking care of his body, right?
Absolutely.
So if you're 7'2" and you're like you have the possibility to be a Shaq in your era and you can shoot the three, bro, what are you doing eating these type of foods? Like, go in there, eat the best food, and just dominate every game. So right. Those are my thoughts, man. But I'll give you the final word, man, and then I'll let you go, and then let's shoot back to jump back in on Tuesday or Wednesday.
Absolutely, man. We can jump back on here, man. I'm looking forward to watching the rest of these games, see how they shake out. I mean, I don't think I'm making any bold predictions saying I think it's Heat and Denver will be in the finals. We'll be talking about them here later on this week. And I think it's going to be a great series. But we'll see what happens, man. Let's jump back on here when I got more time, and we'll do a deep dive on some of these things.
Appreciate it, brother. Have a good run at the gym, and we'll see you in a couple of days.
Absolutely. Take care, man.
All right, my brother. Take care.